Okay, so if you come and stand in front of whatever you are using, I won't say to whack your leg up, whatever you're using to place your leg onto, and then place said leg up onto to whatever it is. Doesn't matter which leg you do, but I do want you to try and get yourself as square onto the chair, or I'm just going to refer to it as a chair, as you can. So often when you put one leg forward, you'll kind of feel how you shift off to one side. So you're going to try and square up as much as you can. And then you're going to point the foot away from you and flex it back towards you. Point the foot away and flex it back. And then just checking in on that ankle joint, how many wrinkles can you create for me in that place? And then this time, hold the flex for me, and then tuck the pelvis down and under, and then let it untuck. So down and under, where you flatten out your low back, and then that untuck where the arch comes back into place. And then it's the untuck that I want you to hold for a moment and begin to hinge forward from your hip joint. So you guys have done this with both legs on the floor many times with me. So the things to look for are your foot wanting to go back into a point, your bum wanting to tuck itself under, and therefore the spine becomes more rounded. Right now, you're just looking for a flat, straight back, as if your sit bone on whichever leg you have up can reach back behind you as your heel reaches forward. So once you've found whatever is your maximum amount of hinge, now you get to round the spine. So you bring the chin onto the chest and start to roll down and forward. And you just go wherever you can hold your balance. Hang out there for a moment and then rewind the spine back and up. I'm just going to square up because everything's on a squiff and it's annoying me. And then we go again. So hip hinge, then bringing your chin to your chest, rolling down. And then let me just have a look. So B, I can't see it, but because I know what your knee joint is like, just be lucky, just be careful on the standing knee that you're not overlocking it and pushing the back of the knee back. So a little tiny softness in your knee. For the rest of you, you want to think of trying to fully straighten the standing knee, just the way you're trying to keep the knee on the chair straight, and then rewind back and up. Okay, now from here, you're going to take a graceful, elegant quarter turn away from the chair. All right. So you should have ended up with a leg that's off out to the side. So you're standing side onto your chair and then reaching forward. So now the chair leg, pull back on that ankle again. The best that you can give me in terms of untucking would be great. And then on the standing leg side, bring that arm up toward the ceiling. Take an inhale as you stretch up, and then an exhale as you stretch over. Good. Now in the side bend, pull the ankle back a little bit more and bring yourself back and up to the top. And again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, side bend over. You're imagining that your hand could come and sit on top of your toes. So just notice if you were able to go there, would you be going in front of your foot or behind your foot and then come on up? Because what we're looking for is to stretch the inner thigh. And then one last time, up and over. Trying to fix all those things that happen in the side bend of getting some rotation forward or back, and then come on up. Okay, now from here, you're going to see if you can quarter turn again to turn away from the chair so that the top of your foot is on the chair. And of course, you can bend the knee. Good. All right, so you're going to let the knee put a little bit of bend in, tuck your tail down and under, and pull the pubic bone forward. So you're looking for a stretch down the front of the thigh on the leg that's on the chair. So bum keeps tucking under, pubic bone keeps pulling forward, that back knee has a little bend in it. Great. And then slowly release that leg down off the chair, ready to go over to the other side. Now you might be looking for the lowest thing in the room that you can possibly find. So the other leg comes up. So stand hip width apart so that when you put your leg up onto the chair, the standing leg tries to really be under the hip. It's really common to kind of feel yourself go off on a bit of a squiff. So on the foot, point, and then flex. So a few times, point and flex, because the flex is the position ultimately that we're really going to encourage to try and get a long pull through the back of the legs. Okay, so this time when you flex, hold there, then find your hip hinge in this position. Bear in mind that clearly this is more extreme than when we have 2 feet on the floor. So you want to be mindful of the position of your spine. So can you tuck and untuck? If you can't, then you know that already you bent forward too much. And because this is quite extreme, you might find your hip hinge is more like this, like it's not so obvious as when you have both feet on the floor. So you find your untuck, you imagine that you can send your bum a little further back behind you, but at the same time, pull the top of the foot towards you to encourage that long pull down through the back of the leg. Now bring your chin to your chest and start to roll forward and down. Let the arms hang. And when you've gone as far as you can, start to rewind back and up. And then go again, hinge at the hip joint. Once you have your hinge, bring your chin on your chest and then go as far as you can balance, as far as your back will take you, as far as the back of your leg will take you. And then come back and up. And then we're going to do that just one last time. So hinging first, then chin on your chest, rounding down. And then rewinding to come up. Okay, now from here, you're going to see if you can take a quarter turn away from your leg so that you're standing side on to the chair. Okay, so once you have that, flex the foot back towards you. Oh, is that a little high chair, Margaret Mary, that you've managed to get your foot on? That's very nice. And then bring the other arm up toward the ceiling and then take a side bend over towards your chair leg and come on up. So as you keep going in and out of it, number one is you're doing your best not to tuck your bum under so that we can really open up the inner thigh muscles. 2 would be to notice if you were really able to get your fingers to touch your toes, would you be in line with them or are you in front or behind them? What can you do to try and fix that? And then 3 is just watching that your knee doesn't bend, but also just for the very mobile of you, that knee isn't bananaing. For you guys, you might have to actually put a little bit of bend in there to make sure we don't overstretch the joint. Okay, now from here, turn away from the chair. And then put a little bit of bend in the back knee. And if you need to just walk back and then put the foot up on the chair, go for it. Okay, we're just being a little bit fancy with the transitions. Okay, so once you're there, you're going to take your bum and drop it down and under. Now I've moved back too far. And pull the pubic bone forward to get the stretch through the front of the thigh of the leg that's had your love and attention so far. All right, now while this leg is here, take your time with this. Bring your chin onto your chest and see how far can you roll down and forward on one leg. And then to return up to standing, scoop up your ribs, your abdominal wall to bring yourself back to the top. And then go again, chin onto your chest. See where you can round down to. Not easy to do this on one leg on one side of your back. And then come on up. And when you come up to the top, change the leg that's on your chair, table, whatever it is. Okay, so tail tucks down and under, great. And then starting to round forward and down. Good, just watch that the standing knee doesn't get too bend. Okay, and then coming back up if you haven't already. And then one more time. I'm assuming, Laurie, that's a chair on wheels and that's why you haven't turned your back to it, because you don't want it to disappear off. Good. And then come on up. Okay, now when you come up, turn to face whatever your feet have been on and place your hands onto it. Okay, drop your head down and then exhale and pull the ribs and your back up. So you want to think of cat stretch that we do on all fours. So you're going to tuck your bum down and under, round your spine toward the ceiling and let your head hang down. So you're really looking for your spine to look like a bridge, that really even arch. Now from here, start to rise up onto the balls of your feet without rolling towards the baby toe or the big toe, and then slowly lower the heels down. Nothing in the shape of your back changes as the feet roll up and roll back down. So as you pick your heels up, tuck a little bit more, pull the ribs up and in a little bit more. Okay, last two. And when you finish the one that you're doing, take your right leg and just hook it onto the front leg. I'll turn to the camera. So the hook is just going to be like this, where you just cross the right ankle across the front of the left ankle. So you're standing on one leg. Okay, same thing. Check in with your back as close to an even round. And now let this one heel lift and lower. Keep watching that big toe joint. Remember last week how I had you push that down onto the strap that you were trying to pull up? So as you lift and lower the heel, it's not that I need a high lift, but I definitely want that toe joint to stay on the floor so that we get some real strength work from the feet to lift you up and down. Last one here. And then change the legs over. So crossing the left ankle over the front of that right shin. And then going again, lift the heel up and lower. And as you do that, trying to watch the alignment of the foot that's lifting and lowering. So head really dropped in. Try to keep the arms pretty straight, because they shouldn't be holding too much weight. You want to feel like, almost like I could put a hoist around your middle and pull you up. You want that band of abdominal wall to be really tightening. All right, now let that release and roll yourself back up to standing, and then come and lie on your back. Now, if you have space where you are to be able to hook your heels on to whatever you've been using. If you're on the armchair, you might want to use the seat of it. If you don't, it's fine. We can do all of the exercises without a chair, okay? They'll all be exercises you know, and they can all be done with feet on the floor. So if it doesn't work for you, put your feet flat on the floor, because we're going to go into shoulder bridge. You guys all know that movement. Okay. So if you do have your feet up on something, the thing that I want you to play with is trying to feel that you get your knees over your hip joint rather than this position. So you see how I have more of a diagonal on the thigh bone, the knee is too far away. I want you to try and get a sense of your thigh bones feeling pretty vertical to you. Okay, but the bridge is the bridge. So the knees are hip width apart. You're either trying to rest on the heels if you're on the chair, or flat on your feet if you're on the floor. As you exhale, sink your lower back into the floor, and now take your time as you peel your spine up. So once you're up at the top, see if you can open the hip sockets up. Now, in a perfect world, you've stayed on the back of the heels if you're on your chair. So you should feel the back of the legs having a little bit of a conversation. As you exhale, slowly roll down. Now, if the legs are elevated, you get a better opportunity to articulate the spine down. It's kind of like you can use gravity to really help you. If cramp is really going to set in, then put the feet on the chair instead, so you can use more of your foot to push you up. If your feet are flat on the floor, pull your toes off the floor now and go up so you're pressing on the back of the heels just the way we are. At the top, knees reach forward, hips try to open, and then exhale, take your time to roll on down. All right, the last one. See if you can get a feeling of the heels pushing down to push the pelvis up, and then slowly releasing back and down. Okay, when you come down, if your chair is comfortable enough to rest your legs against it so they can go like this on a diagonal, go for it. If it kind of cuts in on the back of the leg and it doesn't feel that good, then keep the knees bent for me and just rest the feet wherever they are. Interlace your fingers, bring your hands to the back of your head and close your elbows inward. Take a breath in, exhale, and curl the upper body up and forward. You guys all know how to do that. And then inhale to release down. Exhale to curl up and forward. And inhale to release down. Okay, so I think everyone's using the chair, but if you're not, hopefully your knees are just in on your chest right now. Okay, now the next time that you bring your head up, if you're not using the chair, extend the legs out on a 45-degree angle. Everybody press the heels together, pull the toes apart. So when you look at the gap between your feet, it looks something like a V. Now I want you to try to lighten or lift the legs off the chair and put them back. If you're working in the air, send the legs out, lower them a tiny bit and bring them up. If you're working with the chair and two legs is too much, you can feel your back arching. It's one leg, bring it down, other leg, bring it down, or maybe you just lighten the legs against the chair rather than actually lifting them. Last two, last one, and release back and down. Hug the knees into your chest for a moment. Okay, so everybody keep your left knee on your chest. Hold either under the knee or over the shin, whatever works for you. And then shoot the right leg out. If you have your chair, rest it on the chair. If you don't, shoot it out. And then your choice whether the head comes up or stays down. So if you're bringing your head up, come with me. If it's down, stay there. And now either pick that right leg an inch off the chair and take it down, or if the leg is in the air, little pulses up and down. Last 3 and 2 and 1, and bring it all in. Swap legs, right knee comes in, left leg extends out, hug the leg into you, curl up if you're adding that on, and then 5 times the leg lifts and lowers, whether you're in the air or on the chair. Last 2, last 1, and rest down. Extend both legs out and bring the arms to the ceiling so the palms are facing in towards each other. Then as you exhale, bring your head up and forward, looking straight out between the feet. So from here, the arms go back, but only where none of you drops back on the floor, and bring them forward. So arms go back where you stay lifted and forward. Last 2, last 1, and let it release. Okay, hug the knees all the way in. Rock on up to sitting. Okay, so depending, I want you to be able to sit with the legs quite wide. If you're working on an armchair and now the straddle is just going to be ridiculous, put your feet up against the front of the chair. If you have one like mine, you'll probably be able to straddle around the side. And if it just doesn't work at all, dump the chair away. It's perfectly fine. So bring the arms up at shoulder height, flex back on your ankles, take a breath in, and as you exhale, let your chin come onto your chest and round your spine down. Now, if your hands can rest on whatever you're using, slide them forward as your head goes down. You'll have to be careful with a chair not to smack yourself in the head. But you all know spine stretch forward, so you can push the chair out of the way or you can pull back from the chair and do the exercise. And then rewind and bring yourself back and up. It's just a nice way to keep the shoulders at a specific height. And again, so exhale, bring your chin onto your chest, round down. If the hands are going to move forward, you let them move forward, but it's more important to round your back. Beautiful. And then rewind and extend the spine. Great. Okay, now hold there and open the arms out. So if you're short on space, don't fling the arms all the way out. Bring them more like a V, or you could fold one arm across your chest, and then whichever arm is left, you're turning to the opposite leg. So from here, take a twist to the right. So if you're coming to the right and you only have space for one arm, the right arm is folded on your chest. Bring your chin down, and if your left hand will go on your chair, let it go on your chair. And as you bring your head towards your leg, your arm tries to extend forward as if it could get to the back of the chair. The other arm is reaching in totally the opposite direction. You want to play tug of war with both of them. Now rewind yourself all the way up. Come back to center. Take a twist to the left. Bring your chin onto your chest, round down. If a chair is on the hand, it tries to slide forward as your head tries to go to the knee, and the opposing hand reaches back the other way. Then rewind yourself back and up. Come on center. One more each way. Take a twist. Chin on your chest. Good. Potentially arm reaches forward on a chair or just in space. Back arm reaches back. And then come on up and twist. And one more time to the other side. Bring your chin to your chest. Let your arm reach forward, other arm reach back. Great. And then let it release. Okay, so if you have the kind of chair, like a lot of you have one that's similar to mine, where you're going to be able to grab the legs, go for it. If you don't have that, like the armchair is not going to really be very helpful, come on to that W position with your arms and then slightly rotate them out. So we played with this in class this week as well. Okay, so if your chair allows you to hold legs, you want the hands as high up as you can possibly take them while you keep your nose on the floor. If you're doing the W position, then flip the forearms out so they're more like a 10-2 position. So from here, as you inhale, start to bring your head up, neck up, chest up. And if you're on the chair, push the legs of the chair down into the floor. If you're in the W, you've come up to straight arms and push the floor down and away. And then return from the lowest part of your back all the way up your spine towards your nose. So inhaling as you come into the back bend, pressing down is what I want you to do on whatever you're using. And like a reverse shoulder bridge, can you think of laying the spine down one bone at a time, even though you're lying on your front? Last two. Inhaling as you come up. Good. Push down through the arms and then slow exhale as you bring the spine down. Great. And one last one. And bring the spine down. Good job. Okay, so push on up. Those of you whose chair is nearby, place your hands up onto the chair and you want to kneel away from it. If that's not an option for you, just be on all fours. We're going to finish with the cat stretch, so you can do it either which way. So if you've got your hands on your chair, you just have to try and watch that you're going to not bang your head. So as you exhale, tuck the tail under, round everything up. Or if you're kneeling on the chair, you want to imagine like you're a stegosaurus dinosaur. Every single one of those spikes on your back is trying to really open up. Then inhale as you reverse the position. So on the chair, stick your butt out, let your ribs go forward and let your chest lift up. So there's this reverse kind of back bend position that you're kicking into. And exhale as you tuck, round into the spine, dropping your head down, tail tucks under. And then the inhale as you reverse out of that, lifting the ribs, lifting the chest, or if you're on all fours, everything hanging to the floor. And then one last time, exhaling, tuck the tail, round everything in. And then inhaling as you release out of it. Lift the chest, lift the gaze. Good, find middle ground. And then you guys are done.